Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for checking out part 3 of my Pacific Coast Highway ride. Today we're finally reaching the coast. If you missed part 1 and 2, I'll put them up here where we're heading that way from northern Nevada. Finally get into the coast about 40 miles north of Fort Bragg. Work my way down all the way the northern section of California there that you can ride on the coast. Rode from the start all the way to Bodega Bay, and then got on the 101 for a little bit there. Had to skip some of that lower section. I was running a little short on time. Ended up going through the Golden Gate Bridge, which was awesome, and meeting up with some of my friends in the Bay Area for dinner. I'll talk a little bit about what mistakes I made when planning this trip. I hope it's helpful for you if you're looking to take this ride or do this road trip. Thanks so much for checking out my video. I filmed most of today's video using the Insta 360. It was either mounted up on my handlebars. I also got in a couple angles where it was mounted behind me and gave me a cool action shot like I was being followed by a drone. I made the mistake of not filming some some good B-roll footage or some shots talking to the camera on my GoPro like I usually do. Part of that has to do with my first mistake on planning this trip. Was way too many miles for this stretch for one day to really stop and enjoy the ride and take in the views, especially when you're filming like I do for fun, trying to get footage. Didn't really plan for a couple of hours doing that throughout my day. So that's definitely one thing that, if you could learn from me, is take 2 full days to do this northern stretch. You can stop at some of these vista points, take advantage of the views, and if you're filming like I am, it gives you more opportunity to do a little bit of a better job. Aside from that, it was still a beautiful day out there on the PCH. I've never done this section either in a car or on a bike, so it was all new to me. I really wish I would have, not set that time with my friends in the afternoon. I wish I wasn't rushing as much as I was to get through some of these miles. I also started further north in Fortuna, which is a part 1 and 2 of this series, and it took me a little bit longer. I took my time getting to the Pacific Coast Highway, so take it from me, plan for more time than you think you need. The other thing is some of these areas are pretty slow going. I mean, 25 to 40 miles an hour, 400-mile days can take a lot longer than obviously a 400-mile day on the highway. So that's a little bit of a rookie mistake in terms of me planning my rides. But you live and learn, and I look forward to going back and just doing the trip a little bit differently. So my second mistake I made on this route was not being more prepared to check out Sea Ranch. It's a place my sister tells me a lot about and looks beautiful. I rode right past it. It was on my list of stops to make, but there aren't many signs. I know now that there's a turn off to get into Sea Ranch, which is a little bit, it's like 50 miles north of Bodega Bay, if I remember correctly. So that's definitely something I want to go back and check out. That area looks beautiful. My third and final piece of advice for this section of the Pacific Coast Highway is make sure that you account for about 60 to 90 minutes of just waiting in construction zones. 1-lane traffic. I knew that there was a couple small stretches I saw online of 1-lane highways, but I didn't consider how much time it was going to add to my day. So make sure that you account for stopping every 30 miles and waiting 10-15 minutes for that 1-lane traffic. The nice thing about California is lane splitting. I did cut up to the front for most construction zones, and that helps make sure that you're not stuck behind a slow batch of cars in this section. Aside from those little things, it was the best day of riding I've ever had, me personally. You just can't beat the views, the smooth roads, especially in some of these moments where there was nobody in front of me or behind me. It really is what motorcycling is all about for me, is experiencing the weather, the smells, the ocean, the breeze. I highly recommend this route, but take a little bit more time and learn from me that you don't need to blast through this section. It's too good. It's too good to do in one day. If you made it this far into the video, I ask you to leave me some feedback. maybe a comment if you're enjoying what I'm putting out there, or subscribe to my channel if you found this helpful and you want to see some additional motorcycle adventures in the future. I spent the rest of my day riding down to Bodega Bay, got on the 101 and blasted in my buddy's house south of San Francisco. I put a Golden Gate shot at the end of this video. That's pretty cool, so stay to check that out. And be on the lookout for part 4, the final ride. I go through Half Moon Bay, down the Highway 1 to Monterey. From there, that pretty much ended my Pacific Coast Highway trip. I rode all the way down to Santa Barbara for some tacos, and then the following day, I rode up the 395 all the way back to northern Nevada through some pretty beautiful parts of the country, Lone Pine, Bridgeport, and the east side of the Sierras over there. So if you want to check out that video in a couple weeks, make sure you subscribe to my channel and enjoy the rest of the footage. And as always, ride safe out there.